What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great weekend. It's Sunday, so we're here for SICKO Sunday. Of course, on Friday, went through a bunch of those coaching candidates, so did not have Fan Friday, but wanted to give you some time here. Got about 15, 20 minutes. Wanted to recap the week. Lots of information thrown your way for all you sickos who are ready for the offseason. And look, I know a lot of fans were for most of the season ready for the offseason. So we're going to get into all that stuff, the free agency, the draft, everything. And look, I'm prepping you for all that stuff with all of this information I'm giving you. And we'll recap all of those things here today. But any questions, any comments that you have, feel free to throw my way. Appreciate you tuning in. William, doing well. Hope you are doing well. Also, Teresa, appreciate you. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. And look, I'm still completely miserable. The Eagles not in the playoffs, putting together these parlays, all these things, just pissed. But again, we're just going to suppress it, pretend none of it's happening, and move right along. And earlier this week, check out the video, SICKO Season, giving you an idea of what is coming your way this offseason. But here are some of the important dates you need to know about. We'll be touching up on all of these things, the Shrine and Senior Bowl, all of the bowls, everything you need to know about. And look, I will have not only all the information for here, but again, go check out SICKO Season. I talked about a lot of the shows you guys can expect, a lot of the things I know you guys like, and I've already given you. This week was filled with information that you need for this offseason, whether it be cap space, the draft picks, all of the reserve future signings, the free agents that are coming our way, all that stuff. So make sure you're tuning into these things. If not, though, got you covered here today. Appreciate you tuning in, Joe. Hope you're having a great Sunday. Tiffany, let's go. My man, let's go. Nafitz, I appreciate you, dude, and I can't wait either. I really, look forward to that time. But first, we're going to have free agency, and a lot of great free agents out there. You guys saw my post about Patrick Queen last night. Been asking for that young man for a while, only 24 years old, all-pro. Seen a lot of people commenting on it. Why would the Eagles want an all-pro 24-year-old linebacker? Well, that's pretty much our biggest need. Simple answer there for you. But a lot of needs for this team, and we'll break it all down throughout free agency, throughout the draft. You'll get everything you need to know, and we'll talk about all that information that is necessary to understand that. And that's, the cap space, all of the things that the Eagles have. And you'll always have the people, the Eagles don't have caps. Well, Jalen Hurts contract. Yeah, I'll be here to explain to them how this cap works and how they have no idea what they're talking about. So we'll enjoy this. And I wish it were the season opener, but let's go. Oh, season better. Oh, no doubt. Yeah. Definitely don't want to lose in the playoffs. Do you think the season will get some legit line? Yeah, that's what I was just mentioning there. So pumped up about it. Let's talk about it. Let's take a look at what's going on with this roster here. And we talked about it earlier this week, but letting you see a little recap here of here are the 20 free agents for 22. It's 20, the reserve future. My bad. So you've got 13 on offense, 8 on defense, 1 on special teams. We talked about some of the pieces, and only a handful would I really like to see come back. And obviously Jason Kelsey being one of those. Wouldn't mind maybe an Opeta or Driscoll for depth on the offensive line. But DeAndre Swift, we don't know if he'll want to come back. Wouldn't mind having Jack Stoll back. And, BG wants to have a farewell tour here. I'm all about that. Beyond that, though, I think we're getting younger in a lot of areas. Not sure if Fletch comes back. Sean Bradley, a good special teamer. I don't mind having a good punter, so Braden Mann could come back. But got a lot of things going on here. And, 22 of these guys, who knows how many are back. But we do have some guys, and we talked about this, during that SICKO Season show, the reserve future signings would be coming. And, these are guys that are on our practice squad or someone else's roster that weren't on the active roster at the end of the season. So you add them, and it's essentially just putting them on your off-season roster before that off-season truly begins. So these guys will be here in the summer competing, and you've got 20 of them, 11 on offense, 9 on defense there. So when we looked at the free agents, we looked at what the depth chart looked like with these free agents in it. So what I'm going to do here is show you this roster. So here is what the roster looked like at the end of the year. I took the guys that were all on IR, put them back on here. But you can see everyone that is in green here is a free agent. So you know that some of these pieces, not big deals. They were brought in because of injury. Some just didn't pan out. Jason Kelsey, please don't retire. And hey, look, it still looks like it's 50-50. So we'll see there. But you can see what it looks like with the free agents. But now what I want to do is show you what that looks like with only the active players, what we actually have right now signed to the roster without these free agents. But in green, you are going to see now the guys that were signed on those reserve future contracts. So now you see without Mariota, Tanner McKee, the backup. I'm okay with that. You bring in maybe another veteran to be the QB3, somebody late round draft, not against that. Running back, talked about this. Love to have DeAndre Swift back, but all you've got right now for the summer is Kenny Gainwell and Lou Nichols. So I would love to add in free agency in the draft as well there. And, the same can be said for wide receiver. I like Covey, but, we need a surefire number 3 wide receiver. And some of these young guys are going to be competing. Nada is back here. He was on the practice squad all year. You see Watkins, Harris, and Davis. We talked about them the other day. So go check that video out about these reserve future contracts. And those were 3 names. So we broke those down along with a couple other new ones. But Griffin Hebert, he was here at the end of the season. We've already talked about he. And the same goes for EJ Jenkins. Already talked about him when he was on the team last year. So you have Goddard and Calcaterra there at tight end. We talked about all year getting an upgrade there. So I definitely think you'll look to upgrade the tight end position. Offensive line here. If Jason Kelsey's not back, Cam Jurgens will be that center. Tyler Steen at right guard, it seems. So not against that. Hopeful for the future of those guys, but would look to add there in the draft as well. But you see all of the reserve future contracts we signed, 4 depth pieces there on the offensive line. Clark, Toth, Smith were on the practice squad last year. Jason Poe, a new addition, so we talked about him the other day. So, again, you see all that. Now, let's look at the defense. Here's what it looks like with the free agents. So, Brandon Graham, Cox, and then all of those linebackers, Cunningham, Morrow, Leonard, Bradley, and then a couple pieces in the secondary there in Roby and Evans. But you can see I placed the guys that were on IR or suspension. So Isaiah Rodgers is in there now. He'll definitely be competing. If we get rid of Bradbury, Rodgers definitely looking to be his starter, and we'll see what happens with McPherson, Maddox, Ringo. A lot of competition there. Love it, but I'd still look to add in the draft there as well. Get a little bit younger. And the safeties, dealt with some injuries there, but I would be looking to get younger in the draft. Cannot wait to see Sidney Brown's future, but I would still look to improve there. And you can see now what it looks like with the guys on the active roster and the free agents taken off, added in the reserve future guys. So right now, you have Reddick and Sweat, Nolan Smith still. So without BG, you have Teron Jackson, Patrick Johnson here as your edge rushers. Now, Brandon Smith and Terrell Lewis listed as linebackers, but honestly, those are kind of those tweener pieces that I've talked about that, back up Nolan Smith, Hassan Reddick, Patrick Johnson. So you really need some linebackers. You only have Nakobe Dean and Ben Van Sumeren. So the true off-ball linebackers. So I would really look to add someone like a Patrick Queen in free agency. I would look to add in the draft as well. A lot of people get caught up, last year the Eagles didn't draft a linebacker, so they're not allowed to draft one this year. That I don't know who puts those narratives out there, but the Eagles know they have a need there. They're going to address it this offseason. And you can see in the secondary, they address that, man. They got a lot of young pieces, but you could still look to add there. And without Roby, you have Garner, Mullen, and Goodrich there now, but everybody else still there. And again, cannot wait to see what Rodgers does in this defense. And at safety, McCollum takes the place of Justin Evans. So that's all right. I like McCollum and hopeful for his future, but we'll see what we do in this free agency and draft coming up. And then I will not leave out the special teams here, but you see all the free agents we have. So Braden Mann, our punter and holder, he is a free agent. I would like to bring him back. Boston Scott, kick returner. We're already improved there. And we talked about running back. I would like to see some improvement in that room. So don't know that you necessarily have to get anybody. You'll see in a second here. But Alameda, Penny, Evans, Watkins, all these guys. Now, Evans, I never want to see a punt returner ever again, but don't think he'll be on this team. Now, taking away the free agents and putting in the guys that are on the active roster, we have no punter, no holder. And you see Isaiah Rodgers fills in here as a kick returner. And whatever happens with Covey, hopeful, as one of the best punt returners in the league. And hopefully Rodgers is starting as a corner so you don't have to use him much and he can be that kick returner. And someone said to me the other day, if you're a kick returner, you can be a punt returner. Every single person in the NFL can do both. And I cannot tell you enough that is the most incorrect thing I've ever heard. You got to tune in sometime. You got to stop listening to people that have never played football because they are two completely different things. And there's a reason that only a couple people in the NFL do both. So you can see here, Rodgers and Covey were lucky enough that can do both. Now, I don't really want to see Covey as the kick returner, but he can, and that's what we've got right now. So in case of emergency, Devontae there as a punt returner, but you've got some guys that can actually return the ball. And I know a lot of people wanted to cut Covey last year, but I think he really showed why I was so against that. And I think he's going to just get better. And maybe he can develop into a wide receiver, as we've talked about, helping out in the slot, maybe as that fourth, maybe even fifth guy. So again, I would address that room, but returner looking good. And punter, go ahead and bring Braden Mann back. But you see what this team looks like right now. And, obviously, a lot of questions as to what can we add, what can we do? And I'm going to be on top of the cap space for you. So right now we have over $28.5 million, only 4.1 in dead cap. And we'll get more dead cap when we get rid of Bradbury and do some other things. But I explained on a show the other day how you can actually create space without having to get rid of anyone. And getting rid of Bradbury isn't going to save you money, but you got to move on there. But it ain't going to cost you as much as the media is trying to portray there. Only a little bit. You'll have to spread that money out over 2 years once you post June 1st, designate cut him. But look, you've got, some ways to create cap space. And I went through 15 ways that you could actually move space. The 10 I would do, but I moved it to 9 because one of them was cutting someone. And I don't think, you don't even have to cut anyone. We'll leave that out for now. Just looking at the things that each year I try to break down and show how we can do this. And you see the media finally picking up on how to do this. Finally, people are talking about this stuff because it's very important to understand when everybody's talking about how the Eagles don't have cap space or can't do this, that, the other thing. It's like, what, dude? So right now we're at 28.5 mil. And I'm not saying all of these things are going to happen, but man, even if you just had around like the 30 mark and you're already almost at 30, you could almost have, 60. You could be over, you could be under, but just think about that. Dude, having 60 million, you could sign one of the top linebackers. You could watch these teams in the playoffs and say, damn, I was watching the game last night and it seems that good linebackers actually help. So maybe, just maybe, we're going to go after a linebacker in this draft in free agency because we've got a lot of young pieces in other areas. And we've addressed the most important, the offensive, defensive line as we usually do. But sometimes it's okay to go against the grain and do different things. And the Eagles will do that. They don't have to follow a certain mold that, the media tries to, this year they didn't do this. It's like, well, that's great, man. This is a new year, new team, got different things going on. One thing we desperately need is a linebacker. The Eagles know that. They're going to address it. And you can see right here, 36.76 if you add that stuff up. So, dog, let's go. It's SICKO season. So I hope you guys are strapped in. A lot of those moves will happen. Each year we do this show, people talk about, it's like, dude, I'm just telling you what's coming. And then it happened. You remember Lane Johnson last year, Fletcher Cox, Jake Elliott, all that stuff we talk about. And you can go check that show out. It's got all of the contract details for all of those players I know you want to talk about. So looks like this. There was 18 players. We went over each of their contracts, each page like this for them. And we talk about what the money's going to look like, how it's not 17 million post June 1st cut James Bradbury. So we explained all that stuff. We explained, looking at guys like Jake Elliott, who actually save you some money by restructuring. So take a gander at that show. It is filled with information, but you see right there, man, we've not only got, the cap space, can create more cap space, but we've got 16 picks and then 7 picks in that following year. But so, dude, 23 picks the next 3 years. We're set right now. And look, we talked about this. How he's going to be wheeling and dealing. So whether we move up in the first round, whether somebody, you feel like you could drop back, whatever, there's so many possibilities. And it's always so funny to hear people, we got to trade up. We got to do this. It's like, dog, we haven't even gotten through the stage where everybody change who the number 1 pick is every week. We got to go through that where, no, this guy's the best. It's every week it's somebody different. And I always laugh my ass off, but me, I'll tell you who I've got. We're going for the 6th year in a row, predicting who the Eagles will take. I'll do my best for you, but you can see here, we've got the ammo to do some things. And I'm excited about it. Now, obviously, one of the main things has been, are we keeping Nick Sirianni? Are we going to run this back? What are we changing here? And I gave you possibilities this week of if we moved on, if we were looking for a new head coach candidate. I gave you a full list of that. I gave you offensive coordinator candidates. If they tell him you got to move on for Brian Johnson, maybe Brian Johnson gets a job. A lot of names out there that could really bring something to this team that we desperately need. And that's a lot of things that we have explained over and over again, beating a dead horse. Now, defensive, gave you the most there because I really, I'm excited about a lot of names out there, and I know we're going to make a change there. So whether you gave me Vero, Nelson, we talked about Minter, Leonard, Schumann, oh my God, dude, there are, and a lot of those guys we talked about last year. So that, look, I understand the way this ended, it sucks. And I'm still pissed off watching these playoffs without the Eagles, man. It really blows. But this team, they've got a lot of really great young pieces. And Howie and Lori know, man, we're not messing around here. So Sirianni better not go in there like Doug Peterson. I'm going to do the same thing. So we got to go out here and bring a little something different to the table. So if it is Sirianni, we're going to ride with him, man. We're going to see how this thing goes. But there better be some effing changes or we'll be coming for them. But hey, appreciate you, Mike. And look, I'm optimistic as well, man. We got a lot of great pieces, and I've talked about it. I felt that we could really build a dynasty here. And, well, obviously, you got to win a Super Bowl to do that. And so this year did not go as I planned. And we talked about it each week, how we can change this, that, the other thing. And, well, they just never did it. And each week just making me look like an asshole because, I'm explaining, oh, maybe we run the ball. Hey, maybe you help out Hurts against these blitzes. And, everybody's coming for my head because I'm talking about things that will actually help rather than fire and cut everyone. It's like, yeah, dude, we'll talk about that in the offseason. But then all of a sudden, everybody's like, well, maybe we should fix this stuff. It's like, yeah, if you fixed it, we'd be good. We've got the talent. And then all of a sudden, it's like, well, it's the coaches, not the player. It's like, yeah, man, like, I just don't understand why we didn't want to support the Eagles. Well, I did. Obviously, you sickos did. But the people out there just wilding out, it's like, I hate this time. I hate when football is over. I don't know why people were begging for it. I am always pissed when my team is eliminated. So as much as I enjoy sicko season and putting all this work into this stuff, I hate it at the same time, especially when, people are still playing. So God help us all. It kills me inside, but appreciate you, Mike, and going to try to give you guys as much content as I possibly can throughout this all season. Love to hear from you guys throughout it. I know it's tough times, man, but we will get through it together. Don't worry. Once we hit day 99, we will count down and it'll feel like it just breezes by. I don't know why once we start that countdown, it actually does. And let's go, baby. We'll get through this. I promise you. And it's fun, man. I do love the free agency, the draft, all that. Because you guys know me. I'm a true sicko. I'm not just going to give you a list of 10 free agents I like. I'm going to give you like 50 names at each position. We're going to look at quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight. I mean, everybody, And if you're wondering how it goes, you can always scroll through my YouTube page and go back and see what kind of sicko I truly am and all you sickos tuning in. But, you're going to get a lot of content coming your way. A lot different. Yeah, every year the NFL is different, man. So that's just the way it goes. And I'm pumped, when you have good pieces in place already that are young, that's a good sign that you've got a bright future. Yeah, man, I love the off season. And, obviously game days are, they trump everything. But don't like that word. Coming in is exciting. Look, man, we'll see what kind of changes they make. No thanks to Seth Joyner. I always laugh my ass off at that one. Yeah, we all know we don't want that to happen. Yeah, and I know a lot of people, the Wink Martindale idea, blitz every play, like Seth Joyner always says. I'm good on being last in the NFL. I don't want to give up the most points, the most yards, but we get blitzes in there. That's a big no for me. But all those other names we talked about, all about it. But let's hope that Swift wants to re-sign here. That would be great. But they are human beings who get to make their own decisions. So we'll see what he decides. About Jonathan Greenard, love him, man. We'll talk about all those free agents come free agent time. Don't worry, I've already started compiling lists at each position. You know me, guys. I'm a true effing sicko. You're going to get as much content as you've ever. And you guys are new here. Don't worry, man. Just strap in. You're going to get more content than you've ever dreamed of. So what we do is I go through. We look at so when we look at the quarterbacks, I'll show you, okay, so the Eagles have right now Jalen Hurts and Tanner McKee, no reserve future contracts, free agent Marcus Mariota. We look at what they have. Then we look at the cap space. So each show, you'll know what's going on, how much ammo we have. Then we look at those prospects. So all the top free agents, at quarterback, we'll look at them that day. Then we'll do running backs, wide receivers, all that. And then when it comes to the draft, we do some different things, but one of my favorite things to do is go through each of those positions. And we look at quarterback again. You look at who you sign in free agency, what's going on at that position. Let's just use a different position. Wide receiver. You look at wide receiver because people, but I'm all aboard Hurts. I was the number one. So let's go. Wide receiver. You look at them, you say, okay, we have this. We don't need to look in the first round. We look in the second round here at, where do I have everyone in this draft? So we'll look at the day one guys. We'll look at the day two, the day three, so we'll break down where I see these people in the draft, and then we'll talk about where the Eagles should try to get them. So it's always nuts, but it's awesome when it happens, right? We got Jalen Carter last year, 5th year in a row. Holy hell. We got Nolan Smith. We got Sidney Brown. I mean, we got Kaylee Ringo. We got so many of these names, Moro Ojomo even, that we talked about last year. So loved it. And only channel that I church. Hey, really appreciate that, Hulk. And I know you've been here for a while, my man. Appreciate you tuning in. You know how this all season goes. It is going to get wild. And it's what I do it for you sickos, because this is what I always love. This is the kind of what I give you is what I always did when I was younger. I've been doing this forever. I want to know everything going on with the Eagles. And I leave all of the trolling stuff or like Nick Sirianni could stay or he could not stay. Like, I'm not going to make my show about that. I'll give you 66 candidates that I'd rather do stuff like that, where we actually talk about what the Eagles could do rather than just talking about nothing. It's really weird to me, but hey, I'm glad that you sickos like this stuff. And it weirded me out when I created this show. And I'm like, people don't like, nobody's out here talking about this stuff. Nobody likes to do this. Like, the reporters just want to troll the Eagles all the time. It's like, well, no doubt, dude. I'll just go ahead and jump in front of it all. So for you sickos, and look, man, I understand it is tough times right now. So we're going to have a tough offseason. You're going to hear people whining all the time. And I posted a video or a clip of Patrick Queen. Someone was crying about that. I posted 6 years ago today, got a memory, posted about the Nick Foles throw to the Vikings. Someone was crying about that. It's like, dog, I can't help you. Look, I understand you got something going on in life, whatever. This is my escape, bro. This is what I created this for you sickos who want to come here talk football. It's like, if you need to cry, I mean, you can reach out. I'd love to talk and help you, but like just talking shit every day and whining, like, come on, dog. Let's pull it together. Let's talk about what the Eagles can do to right the ship. Why every year do we have a whole bunch of players who are on a 1-year deal and then we have to look for some other? That's just the way it works. When they're free agents and they only get a 1-year deal, if they haven't, it's kind of 1-year prove it deals. That's kind of just how it goes. If you've earned a long-term deal, you will get a long-term deal. So is what it is there. No doubt, man. So how do we trade for DeAndre Swift? But he's a free agent this year. How does that work? Because his contract ran up. You have certain years in your contract. So when your contract runs up, he's a free agent. So he's a free agent right now. He can sign wherever he would like. We talked about that when we traded for him last year on a 1-year deal there. So we'll see if he would earn one or if he would, have a good enough season where he earned one. But he did not earn one in the season. So we'll see. But hey, appreciate that, man. Glad you guys enjoy that knowledge. And I'll keep throwing it out there. We'll try to counteract all the negativity as much as we can, man. And I get it. Look, it sucks. Like, I'm more pissed off than anyone, but I just ain't in that bitch made mode. I'm not in Cowboys fan mode. I never have been. I'm just going to roll through like I do every year, right? And we'll talk about the things that are important, right? That's what matters to me. And we could sit here and cry all day if you guys wanted, but I'm good, Wouldn't change. Yeah, and I don't think Nick's going anywhere, as we've talked about. But those coordinators, the 66 names we went over the other day, you guys can check that video out, see what my thoughts were, and would love to hear from you. But Samuel, my man, appreciate you, dude. And all you sickos tuning in here, it's going to keep coming throughout this off season. It literally, man, sleepless nights. And last night was one of them. I was looking up a lot of free agents after I made that Patrick Queen post. I was like, oh, yeah. And Jonathan Greenard said his goodbyes to the Texans. One of you guys, I had him on one of my shows last year. Well, a few of my shows where we talked about all those guys we talked about that were trade candidates that are coming up as free agents. And we talked about at that moment, hey, maybe they become a free agent. We don't have to trade anything. That time is now. So I'm all about it. Remember that year we talked about trading for Alshon Jeffrey and Torrey Smith. They became free agents that next year. We got them. I'm just saying what happened then. But we're going to be looking for the future here. And no, not looking for a quick fix. That's just how the NFL works. Some guys only get 1-year deals because they're veterans that have only earned 1-year deals. And if they've earned long-term deals, then they'll get long-term deals. But yeah, that's just the way that works. You got to play well if you want to get a long-term deal. Sickos, let's go. Go Birds. Some people like to sign 1-year deals too for prove-it deals if they were backups and can't earn that long-term deal that they were looking for. Yo, Unspoken, appreciate you tuning in. Not calling plays a big deal. No, there's actually most NFL head coaches don't call plays. There's a few that do, but a lot of people get gripped up by that. But that's just something the media tries to push on them to get them upset, because people are always upset, and the media needs them to be upset to keep clicking on stuff. And for me, it's like, dog, I can be pissed off. If you want me to sit here and be pissed off, I can. Or we can talk about stuff that's actually useful. That's just me. Slander's nuts. He's incredible. Yeah, and he's, one of those guys who was undrafted. So it's just like with TJ Edwards. Everybody wanted to cut him. You look at it with Steichen. Everybody hated him. And then, we go to the Super Bowl, and it's like, well, are you sure you want to get rid of these people that helped us get to the Super Bowl, the pinnacle of what you're trying to do? So you got to understand, people just, get ahead of themselves and don't understand development. And, it is what it is. But I'll be here. Let them keep hating. I'll keep educating. That has been the motto of these parts. I will continue to do that, man. And hey, look, and I understand you guys are upset, but look, I'm not here to just take all, I understand it, man. People that are repeating the same thing, I get it, dog. Hey, we all are pissed off. Trust me. But we could sit here and whine like Cowboys fans, or we could talk about things that matter and how we can fix this and get better. And that's what I'm about. And for those of you who are like me, let's go, McConkey, no doubt. But I appreciate you guys. And I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to see what we get started there. We've got some things to talk about. So just stay tuned. But I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be talking about all that stuff. And that defense was pure ass last year. And we can continue. And I know a lot of people just want to stay in. And this happens every year. We have to hear it all the entire season before every game. Everybody sucks. Everybody's the worst. We got to fire everyone. The team is the worst ever. So we got to listen to it all season. Then the off season comes, and then it's, I hate everyone. Why don't we fire everyone? I hate everyone. Everyone sucks. And it's like, all right. So at what point do we start actually rooting for the Eagles? What point do these people actually start listening and understanding how things work before it's, trade Hurts, fire Howie? We gotta at one point enjoy ourselves, right? That's what. So for me, I create this as an escape. I'm sorry we always have to talk about this stuff, man, but unfortunately, people always want to bring, that energy into it. And I can't do anything but try to counteract it with facts. And facts, they're not for everybody. We all know that. But, and yeah, it's a talent. It is. So it's all good. But should be pissed. Hey, man, I'm sorry you're having a tough Sunday, Joe. Hopefully things turn around for you, my man. But for those of us diehard Eagles fans who are strapped in for SICKO season, getting pumped up, I'm here for you. We're going to get through this. And yeah, no doubt, man. But look, for those of you who want to root for the Eagles, who want to come to a place and find information where, hey, maybe there is some hope here. We just make some of these changes. I mean, you guys, nobody wanted to believe me when I said we should run the ball, get some, quick intermediate throws, maybe, some different formations on offense. Nobody wanted to hear it then. No way. You just got to fire and cut everyone. Then all of a sudden everyone's repeating it. So maybe we calm down, listen to what's going on. We learn a little bit, and then it allows us to make more educated opinions rather than just following the media. Everyone sucks. I hate it. Nah, man, let's strap up and be real Eagles fans. Let's show what that grit is about. If we want our team to be tough and fight, we got to do it ourselves. So I hope you're all having yourselves a great Sunday. Hopefully this SICKO Sunday gave you a little bit of hope. I know some of you, there's just no hope. So I apologize, but I'm going to continue bringing those facts, baby. So continue hating. I'll keep educating. If you guys have any questions on that stuff, the cap stuff, the draft stuff, the free agency, the reserve future contract, any of that stuff, please feel free to reach out. Got to get rolling. Had to keep it under a half hour. Son of a bitch. But I love each and every one of you. If you didn't understand what I was saying about the contracts or what 1-year deals are or anything like that, you can always comment when this video is over. I will happily answer any questions for you. Got to get rolling here, though. Want to make sure my lineup's in for 3 o'clock and got some things to do. Then I want to enjoy this damn game. But you have a great day, young man. And, yo, China, let's effing go. Rain, sleet, or snow. We Eagles fans are trained to go. SICKO season is here, ladies and gentlemen, so I hope you've been enjoying it. We know we didn't want it, but we got it, so let's go. But appreciate you. I really do. I appreciate you guys. You guys know Some days, like today, are extremely tough. This disease can be a pain in the ass, but always bring some joy into my life. This is my escape. I love coming here. You guys are family, just like the joy my family brings me. You guys bring me the same. We could sit here, enjoy our birds. Yeah, we sucked ass to end this season, but we're looking at the light at the end of the tunnel of this next season. It's all we can do. We're fans, man. We could be Cowboys fans and give up, or we could be Eagles fans and fight, fight, fight. Have yourselves a great Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you soon, but until then, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. Have yourselves a great Sunday, great rest of your weekend, and as always, say it with me now, Cowboys!